Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder, and welcome aboard the IGN Yamato in her 1945 configuration. And this is the first impressions video. I have mentioned it in the last video about the Bismarck that I will cover every single new battleship with the first impressions. Before then I go and make in-depth reviews about every single one of them, including the premiums. And so I can get a grasp of the new patch, what the battle ratings actually mean, how the matches play out, what new mechanics affect actually the outcome of a duel. And yeah, the Yamato, heaviest battleship ever built, with the biggest guns ever mounted on such a ship, and really thick armor. AA, not so good. Armor arrangement, not so good. And nasty opposition. Now, before we talk about the Yamato, let's just admire her a little bit in port, because I have to make an announcement, and that will take some minutes. So there will be a timestamp where you can skip over this if you are only here for the Yamato. But please, listen. I need your help to bring my decal into War Thunder. I have mentioned this as a test at the end of the Bismarck video, where I presented also some decals and asked you if you like them and so forth. And yeah, thank you guys for the kind words, for all the nice comments, and it has encouraged me to really go through with the plan. And here's the plan. In order for this to work, I need to present Gaijin, many videos with lots and lots of views. And this right here, with the introduction of the new battleships and me playing naval for a very long time, is the chance to accumulate a lot of views, to bring in a lot of attention to my channel, and to show Gaijin, hey, this guy is actually making videos that get views and therefore get attention. And this is, you know, what you need in order to become a partner for the Gaijin partnership program. And so please like this video, please subscribe, please hit the bell so that just everything is at max. Share this video with your friends, your clan members and so forth. And for you it's just a couple of clicks. For me it means a lot. And in fact, in order to make all the videos that I've planned, I need to spend a lot of time in front of the PC. And I talked with my girlfriend about this, and she understands. She knows this is the patch. She knows she has quite endured me playing War Thunder in the past, and this patch and you know, this introduction of all the big name battleships, that's the end game. If it doesn't work, then I can go and, you know, be done with it. But if it works, which I hope, I can still go with my hobby, with what I really like, and make videos about ships with big guns shooting at other ships with big guns. It's a simple recipe, but there it is. And all the money that comes from, you know, the views on YouTube and also what comes with the program, that goes to the Mrs. Napalm, so I can get her in some fancy restaurants if everything goes right. So yeah, you know what's at stake. Happy wife, happy life. Although she is not my girl, she's still my girlfriend and not my wife. And yeah, that was a bit of a personal sharing, but I hope you understand. So in order to further make this work, I have plans to make some extra channels on my Discord, to which you will find the link in the video description down below, so that you can vote which decal looks the best. But also there will be another channel where you can enter your own submissions if you feel like I have the very best of the decals idea and I want to present you. And again, then it's down to the community. I think it will take a bit of time before I have to submit a finalized decal to Gaijin. So we can make several rounds to exclude the weaker ones that the community doesn't like, and then, you know, to give people enough time for their own drawings or ideas. And further, I need somebody to help me with my thumbnails. it's still not my strength after all these years. And as you will see in this video, or rather here, I still have some issues with some buzzing of my microphone. I tried a lot of stuff, watched many YouTube videos, but there is something going on that I do not quite understand. And if somebody really knows his stuff about this thing, I'm also, able to spend a few bucks on a new microphone, but it doesn't seem to be the microphone that's the problem, and it's not that old. So without further ado, let's talk legend here. Let's talk about the IJN Yamato. So hello back if you have skipped the intro part, and now let's talk about the Yamato. And well, this ship is well deserved at battle rating 8.7 and the new rank 7, and it comes in the very much left lane of the Japanese tech tree after the IJN Fuso, which is at 7.7. And the IJN Yamato is not really that fast, but not slow, with 51 kilometers per hour. She has a displacement of 72,809 tons, which makes her easily the heaviest big boat out there. She has the maximum anti-torpedo protection system, although I have not been hit by a torpedo so far, so I don't know how it actually works out. And well, she fields 3 massive triple turrets with 18.1 inch or 460 millimeter Type 94 guns, 900 rounds of ammunition. Then you have 6.1 inch or 155 millimeter secondaries into twin turrets, super firing on each end of the superstructure. And then you have lots and lots of 5 inch and a horde of 25 millimeters, and that's your armament. Further, you have radar, which more or less helps you only in detecting that something's coming in, and you have no proxy fuse on the AA, but you have time fuse on both the 5 inch and the 6.1 inch guns, so the 127 millimeters and the 155 millimeters. But they're not really all that effective, dare I say, because they just don't have overall the stopping power. Especially the 25s are so much worse than even the majority of 20 millimeters, because they don't have the real tracking capability. They are magazine fed, and then they have a long reload. They don't have the rate of fire, they don't have the stopping power, they don't have the range. So even though this is a 1945 configuration versus aircraft, and it doesn't really matter what kind of aircraft, you are not really well equipped. And yeah, let's talk about the strengths. So first of all, let's talk firepower, because we need to talk about those guns, don't we? And you have 2 shell types. You have 460 millimeter Type 0 common, which is a high explosive shell. Muzzle velocity isn't that fast with 805 meters per second, but you keep much of the muzzle velocity of the initial speed, because it's such a heavy shell with 1,357 kilos, and also it has a absolute godlike surface to weight ratio, and that means that you just don't have all that much air drag compared to your weight. And then the TNT equivalent bursting charge is just short of 65 kilograms, and that is a bit disappointing, because the British with their 13.5 have managed to squeeze in 88 kilograms in their no-use high explosive. And yeah, it's not really the ship's strength, because as a tier 1 upgrade you already get the 460 millimeter Type 91 AP CBC round, and that is the most capable AP in the game right now. Muzzle velocity 780 meters per second, but again, you keep a lot of the initial velocity, and it doesn't slow down at range too much, and so at range it really gains a lot of penetration advantage over the majority of its opponents. The bursting charge is roughly 25 kilograms. That's very similar to what you get on the World War I German 15-inch guns of the Bahn class. but the projectile mass is absolutely massive of those 460mm shells. Nearly 1.5 tons. This is indeed super heavyweight. 1,458 kilograms. And that enables you to have the highest penetration of 870 millimeters at 1000 meters. At 10 kilometers, you still have 686 millimeters, and at 15 kilometers, still just over 600 millimeters. And this is a massive advantage over the Amagi's 16.1 inch guns, which have at 10 kilometers 544 compared to your 686. So that's over 140 millimeters more of penetration to shells that are already really good. And over the USS Iowa, which is famous for its super heavyweight shell or super heavy shell, it has 667, so the distance isn't that big. It's 19 millimeters more, and compared to the Sovietsky Soyuz 660 millimeters, it's 26 millimeters. But yeah, it is also versus 60 degrees angles of attack at 10 kilometers a bit better than the rest, with 257 millimeters compared to 209 on the Yamagi, 245 on the Iowa, and 243 on the Sovietsky Soyuz. The TNT equivalent is actually pretty good, 25 kilograms compared to 12.66, which is literally half of what you get from the Yamagi, or 18.18 that you get on the Iowa, but you are heavily beaten actually by the miracle shells that are the Sovietsky Soyuz's 16-inch shells, which have nearly 40 kilograms of TNT. Your reload is 31.7 seconds, and therefore much longer than the 24 from the Yamagi, the 29.9 of the Iowa, and the 28.6 of the Sovietsky Soyuz. Therefore, your DPM is the lowest in this comparison, with 17 rounds per minute compared to the 25 of the Yamagi, the 18 of the Iowa, and the Sovietsky Soyuz with 18.9. Also, your HE, while better than the Amagi's by quite a bit, 64 compared to 46.5, you are less TNT heavy than the Iowa's high capacity round with 68 kilograms, and the Sovietsky Soyuz with its SAP round with the miracle 88 kilograms. So it's about the penetration, the keeping that penetration over range, and then bringing in still a hefty charge from 9 guns, while you yourself have a lot of armor. And at first glance, it sounds like a match made in heaven. The belt inclined inwards, so plunging fire gets even less effective, has 410 millimeters rolled cemented armor. That is great. Then you have also some fancy deck plating that is a bit angled, and this might be some incomplete turtleback. I know that sounds weird, but if you look at especially the frontal firing group, you see what I mean. Somewhere between 200 millimeters, 230 millimeters, and up to then even 15 inches or 380 millimeters in parts over the exhaust, right, over the funnel. And yeah, that is really thick deck plating. Then there's also the really thick barbettes, which on the lower part have 490 millimeters, and on the upper part, the upper ring, it's 560 millimeters. And the turret faces 660 millimeters of rolled cemented armor at a constructional armor slope of 44 degrees. So only if you hit the barrels directly you can damage them or knock out the turret. And that is just fantastic. Except one thing, and that's the thing that I usually mention also very much at the start, and that is the bulkhead, because the situation is thin. So far, if you would have made a thick bulkhead and make it flat, nobody ever would say that this ship is bad. But what the Japanese designers have done is an absolute guaranteed failure in War Thunder and also in other games. And that is this what's called diamond-shaped bulkhead. So the bulkhead itself is already not that thick, It's 270 millimeter on the lower end and 300 millimeters on the upper end. It's also inclined inwards, and the problem is the connecting plate between the bulkhead and the main belt, because it's 330 millimeter on the lower end and 350 millimeter above the waterline. And yeah, even though the very upper parts are really heavily angled with 340 millimeters, this is a guaranteed shell catcher, no matter how you angle, because this is basically an all or nothing armor scheme. So because you have no icebreaker and nothing, regardless how you angle, there is always a surface area that is not very much angled. And so from the side, somebody just snipes through your belt. From the front, somebody snaps just through the bow. And even if you angle, you know, you have this cheek that sticks out, that everybody that has some gaming experience in this kind of environment just knows about. Under the front turret, it's guaranteed ultra bingo. And then you blow up, because the thing is, you have a massive, huge magazine, and the majority of the shells is actually above the magazine. And unlike in previous patches, it seems like when the shells get hit, they detonate. But it also could be that it shrapnels out to the also very much hittable propellant charges, and then you detonate. And you have the very same thing at the rear of the ship. And this breaks the Yamato, because you spawn from your enemies somewhere between 8 and 15 kilometers, and you cannot lead the charge. You cannot really do anything other than hope that you don't get shot, constantly change your angle, and just play with your speed, you know, reverse, accelerate, and so forth. And this over 70,000 ton heavy ship is not really made for this, right? It's made for dueling it out with other battleships at range, and you might be able to deal with US standards at range. But they also can snipe either with a lucky shell or deliberately on your frontal firing group, and then you die. And yeah, this might be different when you are in your immunity zone, depending on what you're facing, from 12, 13, 15, 20 kilometers away, but that's not the situation in random battles. Again, I have to try it out in enduring confrontations, but so far this is the breaking point for the Yamato. Now, if you are somebody that hides behind another ship that doesn't have this weakness, or behind an island where your magazine is protected either by a stranded shipwreck or by parts of the island, then the rest of the ship is really tough. But on the open oceans, what this ship was actually built for and designed for, you're easy prey. I've been actually killed not just by, you know, Sovietsky Soyuz or other Yamatos, as you would expect, but also by the base fuse high explosive shell from the 15-inch guns from a Gneisenau at range of 9 kilometers. This is really frustrating, because you expect, especially after the Amagi, that you are this monster, you have this massive firepower, which you indeed have, and then you just look at the biggest and baddest of the enemies and shoot them, and then you will find out that you can deal with them, with the likes of Yamato, Amagi, Bismarck, our Queen Elizabeth class, Vanguard, Sean Bart, not Sean Bart, you know, the French, the Italian ships, all the likes, except for the Sovietsky Soyuz, because that monster just doesn't give a damn about what you think, because it can snipe you, it can detonate you, while you can only disable its guns if you're lucky, you know, hit the barbette and so forth. And because that hull armor is just made to other standards of physics, it's incredible. And this is where I get the idea that there might be a heated discussion in the comment section, because what that means is that you know, somebody goes in and plays the Sovietsky Soyuz, and every other ship just is gun food and gets picked off by whoever plays the Sovietsky Soyuz and whoever he feels like taking out. I haven't played the Sovietsky Soyuz myself, but whatever I've done to this, whenever I've faced them in Bismarck so far and in the Yamato, I couldn't really take on them or take them on. That's really frustrating, right? So yeah, that's a problem. So let's just summarize the Yamato. She's relatively slow. She has the maximum torpedo protection, although I cannot confirm if it works or not since I have not been hit so far. The AA is not all that great. There is a lot of quantity, but not a lot of quality. Your armor is really thick, and if you don't get hit in your weak spot, then you might be fine, right? Barbettes thick, belts thick, deck armor's thick, you know, there is always the possibility of some freak shell, but the front and rear magazines being exposed like this, everybody knows it. You gotta play around this or you die in a big fireball. And I think that this is basically, when it comes to the front magazine in particular, that's the same fate that the Yamato has when it comes to the Des Moines. And the Des Moines, you know, it has this crazy firepower compared to a lot of other cruisers with only 6 seconds reload. It has strong 8-inch guns. It has really some of the best cruiser armor that there is, but it still explodes like crazy because everybody knows the front magazine will go off and you gotta kill. And if you don't kill it, it will kill you. So you are both a massive threat, but also gun food. And I think that's the perfect description of a glass cannon, although a very well protected one if you would exclude the glass part. So this is where I'm a bit frustrated, where I have no feeling of superiority that I got back in the days when the Yamagi came out, or you know, the overall reliability that I have experienced when I was playing the Bismarck in the last video. So I'm not quite sure what to think about this. I have to put this in context. For this I have to play some other ships, and yeah, some other candidates will also see their debut on this channel. And having said this, that's it for me today. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Again, please join my Discord, link in the video description down below, so that you can vote for your favorite decal or submit your own design. And again, contact me over Discord if you have really good experiences with refining the microphone, or if you know what the problem is. Again, if I need to get a new microphone, I do so, but I don't think it's the microphone. And again, please like and subscribe for the algorithm, and yeah, share this video with your friends, with your clan members, and whoever else you can annoy with. And as usual, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and we'll see each other on the battlefields, in the skies, and on the waves of War Thunder.